Alright, hello and welcome back to Three Fish and an Angry Wife here. Okay, I'm just gonna have to deal with the tripod in the shot. So, let me try to get that tripod like out of the shot. Okay. So, welcome. I'm going to go over today what I know and what I've learned about mystery snails. I've been keeping and breeding mystery snails for a little over a year now. I've learned a lot about them, both from research and from personal experience with keeping them. But I still am by far no expert on them. I'm just going to share what I know and what I've learned. It's drying out a little bit. So, mystery snails come in a wide variety of colors. We have blue, gold, ivory, and jade colored ones here. The gold color has a yellow shell with a light foot, and the foot refers to their body. The jades have a yellow shell with a dark foot, giving them this moss green color. That's not algae on it. That is actually the color of its shell. It gets this greenish jade color to it. And then the blues are a white shell with a dark foot. And the ivories are a white shell with a light foot. There's also variations of browns, stripes, purples. I don't have any of those. I do plan on getting a line of purple colored ones sometime soon, hopefully. But right now, these are the ones that I have and have kept. The care for them are all pretty much all the same. They're just different colors. Different colored ones don't require different care or anything. They are just a different color. And then we have here, so bear with me while I zoom this in. So this right here is a baby mystery snail. Just hatched out today. And then over here, these are from a clutch that hatched out December 24th. So, it is the 12th. So you see how fast they grow. Let me see if I can get you something in here as a size comparison on them. A penny. So let's put this in there. So you see how tiny they start out and how quickly they grow. Mystery snails are by far one of my favorite ornamental snails. They are very, very active, moving around. They get up to 2 inches in diameter. They typically live 2 to 3 years. They eat a lot. Now, they're not going to eat your aquarium plants, which is one of the good things about them. The only time that they will eat an aquarium plant or a living healthy plant that you have in the tank is if, one, they're not being fed enough, or two, if that leaf is starting to die. So a lot of aquarium plants will melt back. So instead of those leaves just breaking down in the bottom of your tank, they're going to eat them up. Like I said, these guys do eat a lot. You can feed them a wide variety of things. I feed romaine lettuce, algae wafers, cucumbers, zucchini, spinach. So they'll eat a wide variety of food. The cucumbers and zucchinis, I do blanch them. It helps for them to sink, plus it softens them up to make it easier for them to eat. And then what I don't feed that day, I throw in a Ziploc baggie and freeze. And then next time I need to feed, I just pull it out, break it off, and throw it in the tank, let it thaw out in the tank, and they'll eat it up. Now these snails can handle a wide range of temperatures. So they're good for cold water tanks, they're good for tropical tanks. I keep them in tropical tanks where I breed bettas. I have a lot of guppies right now too. I've been working with them. Just very interesting fish, I think. I had them as a kid and just a cheap little feeder fit. Guppies. I'd have them as a kid, and now I'm got some fancy guppies. I'm just letting them do their thing in the tank, not really doing anything in particular with them, just letting them thrive. One thing to keep in mind with the mystery snails is if you have them in warmer water, they are going to grow faster, they're going to eat more, and they're going to have a slightly shorter lifespan. If you keep them in a cooler water tank, it's going to be almost the opposite. They're still going to eat a lot, but they will grow slower, and they do tend to have a slightly longer lifespan. The reason for this is the warmer they are, the faster their metabolism runs, the more they need to eat, the faster they're going to grow. Mystery snails are unique as in, with the fact that they are not hermaphroditic. There are males and there are females. There are ways to sex them. I personally have never had any luck with that. The only way that I know to 100% sex them is to wait. If they lay eggs, it's a female. If it never lays eggs, it's a male. Not this. That's just the only way that is surefire to know if you have a male or a female. Now they do, because they are a member of the apple snail family, they will come up out of the water and lay clutches of eggs. I wish I had a clutch to show you, but literally I just hatched out my last clutch and they've not laid any more, so I don't have that to show you. Now they do like slightly harder water. and they do need a lot of calcium in their diet so that they can grow strong, healthy shells. Another thing, let me see if this one has it. So if you look here, this front right here where it's kind of translucent, I don't want to touch it. It is brittle. That's where it's growing its shell out. But if you look right back here where this line is on its shell, it's not a crack, and it's not going to harm the snail at all. Only thing that it really does is just changes its appearance. But that line is actually where something shifted in the water parameters. So the water might have been a little softer, might have been a little harder, I didn't know it. So they will develop a line in their shell. Another thing is, a lot of times when you get these, your water parameters are not going to match what they've been in, so they'll get a line. It's not going to harm the snail at all. These snails are very interesting. They actually have a tube that they can extend up and out of the water because they have both a lung and a gill. So they can breathe underwater, and they can also breathe atmospheric air through this the tube that they have. That way they don't have to come up to the water's surface and run the risk of being eaten. If you see here, this is one of the side effects to keeping multiples of them. They will rasp at each other's shells and eat away at them. If it's not kept, if they don't have enough calcium in their diet, it can harm them. But just a little bit of this, where if you have multiples of them, it's not going to actually hurt the snail. It's just one of the downsides to keeping so many of them, because I do breed them, and especially the babies will rasp at the bigger one's shells, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, tank size for these guys really depends. I've not found any, oh, they need this much space. I'm sure if you look out there, somebody's wrote out that you gotta have a 40-gallon tank per mystery snail. It's really not the case. I would not recommend putting them in anything less than a 5-gallon tank only, because they do excrete a lot of waste. They are going to clean up a lot of like fish droppings, excess fish food, but at the same time they're going to also emit their own waste, which can cause ammonia spikes in your tank. So about a 5 to 10 gallon tank, I would say a 10-gallon tank, maybe 2 mystery snails if you do regular water changes. A 20-gallon tank like I have back here, you could probably get away with maybe three or four in it. They do require a lot of calcium also, which you can buy like cuttlefish bone and put it in their water. Or what I do is I take old eggshells, and after using the eggs, I'll boil the eggshells, and then I'll crush that up into a fine, almost powder, and I'll put that in the bottom of the tanks. And that's working really well for me. What else? Let me see. Other than that, these guys are really interesting to watch as well. They'll climb up to the top of the tank. I've seen them, they'll float around the tank. They'll actually open up their foot and kind of like skim at the water, at the top of the water. And then they'll just randomly let go and drop down to the bottom of the tank. They can be very interesting to watch as well. And definitely a good addition to an aquarium. So, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe. It really helps me out. And I'll see you next time.